You're listening to Heart with Women of Noor. It's a podcast show for women who are searching and trying to find that courageous person inside ourselves. So we are hoping that we can inspire you by listening to stories of different women who are doing amazing, extraordinary things. Although, on that note, I feel that each and every woman in herself is extraordinary, and we are all doing in our own way. We are all doing extraordinary things. This is Simon Dillon with the Heart to Heart with Women of Noor. And I have been streaming for the past 15, 16 months, and I love what I do. I feel that all these amazing women who come on the show, they have changed me as a person, and they have helped me grow as a person. And with that, I bring my co-host, Kalpana. And Kalpana, I will let you do your own introduction.
Thank you, Saima. That was beautiful. And hi, beautiful ladies out there. This is Kalpana, and I'm honored to be part of this podcast, Heart to Heart with Saima. And I'm enjoying the show as much as you guys are. And I've been part of it. And we both are also doing a show on the radio from past few months. So we try to inspire, as Saima said, we try to inspire as very little, whatever little steps we try to take. Because I myself have learned so many things over the a period of time, and I have learned one thing that. Like I always say, if love is so lovely, then first I think we need to love ourselves. Because many women, especially in Indian and the Asian community, they are being brought up in such a way that we need to first take care of others, and last comes us. We are the last priority. But I think no, we should also pamper ourselves and take time for ourselves, and that gives so much peace and energy to ourselves. That's very important. And I'm so fortunate that I been part of this show where I try to inspire other women as well. And it's also making me learn many new things in my path of journey. So that's me. And also, apart from the show, I am a Montessori teacher, a proud Montessori teacher, who learn every day from my children the innocent situations they go through. And I'm married for 24 years. And if you can hear my dog there, so we have a pet, and living with my two children, 21 and 17. So that's me, the shortcut of my journey. That's and now I turn over to Miranda. So tell me about yourself, Miranda.
Hi there, my name's Miranda. I'm the official lipstick reader. I am the kiss whisperer. That sounds pretty intoxicating. To celebrities, VIPs, luxury brands, and today with you. What I do is I read the kiss print, very similar to the features of your fingerprint, and also add a little DNA. So it's very scientific. What I do is I read the features, which is going to tell me your past, present, and your life journey. But what I do that no one else does is I'm going to share what's going on and where you're going. So again, my name is Miranda. I'm the official lipstick reader. And with that, I'm just going to quickly bring in the angels, and then I'm going to pass it on to my colleague. So here we go. Here we go. Make sure. Right now, I only have one kiss, so we want to make sure there's not too many angels with us. So here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Namaste. Now to you.
Manu.
Okay, this was amazing. Well, thank you so much, Kalpana, for inviting. And I am super thrilled to find a lost friend here for after 25 years. As we
Yes.
So we definitely have to connect. So my name is Manu Shahi, and I'm a proud resident of Flower Mound, Texas, for last 25 years. And I've been here where I have a small business, and I live with my husband as an empty nester. My daughter is away to college, and so it's just both of us and a little dog, our old dog. So I run an after-school program here in Flower Mound, and now actually in the DFW area, and it's a school where we actually improve habits of students to improve grades. So we don't focus all on academics. We are actually trying to find the why of a child's behavior to improve their connection with the family, and the whole idea is for the family unit to get connected. And because we all know, especially the South Asian community, and I think this is a very generic, anytime a child is not performing well, the eyes are on the mother. So, which is kind of sad, but when comes to taking a credit, the whole family gets up. But when it comes to taking a blame, it's somehow the eyes of the community, the family is on one person only. So, hopefully, with time, we can get rid of that, unconscious bias that the community and the society holds. But that's for some other time. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be an amazing night. I'm excited to kick off this wonderful evening with some wonderful women out here.
So welcome, Manu. Like you said earlier, it's such a pleasure to have you on, and how we meet, and Kalpana. So Miranda, Manu, and myself, we were together at UT Arlington, and we actually graduated together. We went on one of our first interviews together, which Manu doesn't remember a lot of this stuff, but we were at that interview at Fidelity together right after we graduated. And then we got busy in our life, and we lost track. And many times I went on, and I actually, Manu, even went on social media trying to search for you, but I could not find you. And how the universe works, right? We just randomly meet after all.
And then came the path of light, and then I just happened to meet you.
Right.
I just came in to be like the oddball out.
Not at all. I mean,
No.
You fit in perfectly, Miranda. You are that spice that we needed to sprinkle on our tea, because as Indian and Pakistani women, we are usually mostly tea drinkers.
And what I love about this is we are powerful, empowered women of color. And again, we may come from different backgrounds, different ethnics, but what we're going to share today is basically where we've been and where we're going. And I just want to share with your viewers, this is the first kiss. I just want everyone to know.
Move it a little bit to the, yes.
There we go. And so this is the first kiss, what we are going to share, and exactly what you just mentioned, it's in this journey. And then we have the second kiss. So I just want to get everyone's anticipation of what's next.
That sounds wonderful. So Manu, you have written a book. And so what is your book all about?
I've written 3 books, and actually they are not all I'm a co-author, and
Okay.
So my first one was about my journey as when something unexpected happened in my life. And that's where, when you asked me those 3 words, that's where the change came from. And my second one was when I sold my business, that's how Kalpana and myself met. As an educator, what I saw in the eyes of an educator in the families and the kids, that made me start my next venture, which I sold my business in 2017 and started it was an idea sitting in a coffee shop. And for months and months, I was observing something, and I came up with an idea. I want to start something, and it was called, and so I named it Homework in a Cafe. And I started that in 2017. And today it is a part of a couple of school districts. It's a part of benefits programs for a couple of companies. And it has shown me so much. So my third little book, which I would recommend to all entrepreneurs to do, is it's a small mini book. And I wish I had it here. Where people will throw away a business card, but they'll never throw away a little mini book. So it's just 5, I think it's...
What is the book called?
It's called Study Smart. These just tips and tricks on how to study effectively after 3 p.m. So it's Study Smart after 3 p.m. So so instead of giving my business card, I always give that book to people. So they
cool.
will keep it, and they will never throw it away, and they can have it. So that's one of the strategies I learned over a period of time. So those are the 3 books. So it's all about my life, but not about me as much, but all about the experiences, because stories connect us. When we share stories amongst women, we just start realizing that how powerful. I'm not in it alone. There is somebody else who's facing something in some form. And, that way I never believed in, I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, I never believed in one best friend.
Yeah.
There are different people who satisfy different needs of yours. Some can be spiritual, some can be, let's have go for party, but I cannot talk to you about my private stuff. Some can be just home remedies. So everybody fulfills and gives me energy in different forms. And that's how I think stories will connect all of us, and the power of networking. That's amazing.
Wonderful. So, what made you start writing? What pulled you towards writing?
Well, I was always when I used to run Kuman, a lot of people used to say, okay, what is that? Key?
So that's one of your tarot cards.
Okay, do you know I have a tattoo, which is a key?
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Okay.
And I brought it up because the question was, what prompted you to do this? And this card came up to say, because you've had the key and you had to unlock it. So I just, sorry I interrupted. This card came up and
Oh,
said,
that's fine. I mean, you
Keep going.
just interrupt anyone, Kalpana, whoever has questions. Just, I think that's how it's all impromptu, and that's how we have this, enlightening discussion. And maybe next time we need some coffee here.
little wine, a little coffee.
Yeah, you know what? Whatever. If wine works for you, you get wine. You do whatever makes you happy. That's what it's about.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I used to always, my Facebook statuses were always inspiring to people. They used to stop me and say, "We love what you write. It's so
Yeah.
we can connect to it." But that was, when I think in 2016, I decided to wrap up a part of my life experience, which was with my daughter. I'm not getting in too much detail about that, which is, of course, a TED talk that everybody can hear on YouTube. My daughter is a two-time cancer survivor.
Oh,
And
wow.
so that was my first book on my journey when unexpected change happened in my life, how me as a mother was dealing with that change. So I basically, at that moment, decided to give change 4 stages, which was not done any research. It was me writing in my journals and different places that I put everything down. So basically realized that change is a very powerful coach if we
Yeah.
are ready to accept it.
Yeah.
We all live in a cocoon where everything is perfect,
Yeah.
but the more comfortable we become in life, it's harder to accept change because suddenly your area is very disturbed. So it's kind of hard when you are having that fixed thing that this is life is comfortable. Uncomfortable people always grow, which is there. Like, you get out of your comfort zone, you grow. So I went ahead and decided that, okay, change comes in 4 stages in anybody's life. And the first change, the stage of change, which I found was denial. That anytime you hear a news, you are in denial that it did not happen to me. It can be, you lost a job, you had a marriage where somebody cheated, you find out, or the fact that you have an unexpected illness in your life. So you go into a denial stage, and that can be very devastating. And in my book, in fact, I gave a keynote talk at one of the colleges, Valencia colleges in Florida. So we dissected it in a little more way. So that was a 2-hour talk, so we don't have that much time. So I went into the details of what we go through emotionally and mentally when it comes to the denial stage. The second stage from denial is actually the acceptance, which is the longest and the darkest phase as per my experiences in life. Even if you look at the COVID situation, that was the longest phase for everybody, where it can go in 2 directions. It can be a depression where people can go into substance abuse. They can start, going into depression, or actually they can start accepting it because now they know that this is it and I need to grow from it. And from there, you actually move on to the third stage, which is called maintenance phase, where you find a new ritual that morning, you start making a shift and start realizing my normal is going to be different from your normal. So that is where the third stage happens. And when you have moved on to that third stage of maintenance part, then you find yourself in the zen phase where the growth has happened and you don't even realize how much you have grown from where you had started in your journey to where you are now, and it is amazing. So when of course, in this particular 4 stages of my life, I have, the reason I could say that is, when my daughter was diagnosed, we were in denial, we went into acceptance. but then she had a relapse. And we had not even reached the third stage, and we were thrown back into the first stage of our life where we're like, no, it cannot happen.
So
And
Manu, just to interrupt you, how old was your daughter when this happened,
2.5,
and how old is she now?
20, almost 23.
Oh wow, mashallah.
So it's a, yeah. So so when that second time is where the maximum growth happened for us as a family, for me as a woman, because if you guys are familiar with this foundation called Make a Wish Foundation, they granted her a wish, and her wish was to go to Disney. So that was the first time we went to Disney with her after, during her treatment. It was beautiful, magical. But when she was diagnosed the second time, she asked me that if Make a Wish will grant her another wish now, because it's the second time, and we like, that's not going to happen because it's a one wish policy. And she was painting at that time, and I looked at her and said, how about we grant wishes instead?
And how old was she then?
5. She had a
Okay.
relapse at 5, and so she was painting that color by numbers, that velvet painting stuff that they do. And her first painting was sold for $40 at a Make a Wish event. And so
Wow.
we were now into a ritual, the maintenance phase that I say, where we have a new ritual. She has an art teacher. She went from one art teacher to the other. And slowly, her paintings went from $40 to $1,000 to $10,000 to $20,000. Each painting was being sold at that amount. And she set a goal for herself that before she goes to college, that she's going to go ahead and raise $100,000 and give everything to Make a Wish. The last stage, which I talk about, which is the Zen phase, is her senior year in college. We decided to paint a painting of the first wish child through which the organization was started. And we invited the mom up on stage to give her the painting. And we auctioned it. And that one piece was sold for $90,000.
Oh wow. That
So,
gives me goosebumps.
it does. And then that person was under one condition. They said that we would gift it to the mom, the painting. So overall, she was raised. When we were leaving the event, there was this little 6-year-old who walked up to me and said, I have, I want to be like Janvi one day. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's good. And she goes, do you know what I've named my teddy bear? I said, what is that? She says, I've named the teddy bear
Wow.
Janvi. So this was the complete, circle where whatever you have done, so those
Yeah.
$200,000 she raised, it gave wishes to so many kids.
Yeah.
We are sometimes so busy and so healing ourselves, but sometimes when you just open yourself up, you just don't know how many other people you can heal, because the story, like a lot of people like to say, keep it to themselves. But if you are open to sharing your story, that story became a story of hope. And it gave my daughter, actually, she's in an art college now, so it gave her a path. It gave me love for kids and love for what our community, and everybody got a meaning in this particular situation. And that's where the word, if you're familiar with the word called kintsugi, which is a Japanese phrase, where we all are broken in some way or the other in life. And kintsugi is an art, a Japanese art of filling broken pottery with gold. And the more your experiences are, you fill in in your life, the more valuable you become. But don't keep it to
Wow.
yourself. Just go ahead and share it with others, because two things happen. A, you are sharing with others so they can get, the strength. And the other thing that can happen is, if you have an experience, that story, what role you played in that story is extremely important. Were you sitting down crying in the room for hours and days and weeks, or you went into alcohol, or were you actually making a difference? What role were you playing when that thing happened is where you will get the strength the next time a change happens in your life. That if you could do.
Wow. That is so powerful,
That's
Manu. That is
that's
extremely
truly, yeah, truly inspiring.
wow. Justice.
Justice.
And the question I have for you, Manu, because justice came up, you talked about the different phases. I lost my daughter 2.5 years ago, and I haven't even come to the acceptance. But what I would like to know, if and when, how did you get through that? Is being angry. The justice is, why us? Why her? Why God? Why universe? Did you get to that point, or were you able to basically just, I know what I go through, so I'm curious about, especially the first time with such a baby and then having it again. When did that happen, if it happened, and if so, How did you overcome that?
Oh, I was angry. I was angry more the second time than the first time. That second time I was furious because we did everything what the doctors told us to do, and everything was supposed to be happening. She was typically the kind of cancer she had. It's a garden variety case. That's a number one leukemia is the number one childhood cancer, very treatable. And her was like a 5% chance of coming back. And why her? Where did we go wrong? So yes, but that denial to acceptance, like how long do we sit there? And one of the things that I did realize is it goes back to a parenting a little bit. The words that our parents have told us while we are growing up stick somewhere in our head, in the back of our head. So my dad always used to tell me that actually I have asked God for a daughter and he gave me you. So nothing ever can go wrong with you. So he kept reminding me that if there is anybody on this planet who can get over something, it's you, because you have, the God's hand or whatever. He kept telling me all that stuff. So whenever I used to doubt myself, and it is okay to be angry, man. There's nothing wrong with being angry because that's an emotion and we end up hiding it. But anger will, once you get over that anger, it's only then you'll be able to find the maintenance phase of. But it's very important for you, Miranda, to find a new ritual. You cannot be in that old situation of your old rituals, to find, because now your normal is different, and your loss has happened and your normal is different, so you need to figure out what your new normal is going to be.
Well, you
And I
actually
want to say
said,
one thing, Miranda, that I think loss of a family is very heartful. I know that it takes a time. And we are human and we do have emotions, and that's okay. And I'm sorry for that, that you lost your loved one. But what I would like to say is okay to have, okay to get upset, okay to get angry, but I think we should not remain that kind of emotion for a long period of time. Because all emotions are supposed to just show up as the situations come to us, and it's all okay to just bring out the emotions, but don't remain in that for a long period of time.
Do you have some kind of a support? Because at that point, when you are in that phase, that why me, talking to people, connecting with other people who have been through something similar will give you, that's where you'll get the power from.
well, I'm definitely past that part, but like what you said is I asked God, I want my first child to be a daughter because I wanted her to be strong. I didn't want her to be the daughter with an older brother. And so there's so many things that you had shared that I did. And it's more about the last week of her life that we spent the most beautiful time. And me as a spiritual advisor, I had no idea. So for the last 12 months, it just kind of knocked me like, how can I assist? How can I be open? How can I ask the angels when the angry part is this happened to me and my daughter? So anyway, it's you just hit a nerve and it's a good nerve. So I just want to share that with you.
It's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
okay, Miranda. It's okay for you to show your
Right.
emotions, and that's what we are here for, and we are here to provide some form of healing to anyone who is listening because, like Manu said earlier, that we are all broken in our own ways. Social media, I always say that social media might not show our broken pieces, but we all have our challenges. We are all, and it takes a lot of courage to show your vulnerability to the world, and to open your heart and to bare your soul and to put it out there for others to take courage from, for others to feel that, hey, you know what, I'm not alone. And I have all these people around me who are fighting their own battles.
Miranda, have you heard about the ABC of change? Like, when you are in the maintenance phase, you go through the ABC option. So you might want to sit down and think about is A is where you think about autonomy, a control of the situation, that I am okay. Like there are some people who will say, I'm okay. I have control over the situation. So that's A. B is sense of belonging. You want to belong to some kind of a community, some kind of a group that you guys can heal together, and that's the second thing. And the C stands for a cause. once you, like, for us, my daughter and myself, we got our power by granting wishes. So we were just like painting, going crazy painting and granting wishes from, I remember I think she was 7 or 8, and she had these three big pieces, and this guy walks up to her, and she walked up to him and she, "What are you looking at?" He goes, "I'm trying to see which one to buy." And she goes, "Why not all three?" He goes, "How much?" And she, of a 7-year or 8-year old, I don't think even she remembers what she was saying. She goes, $10,000. And he says, "Okay." And he wrote a check. But, and that, that cause that she had or I had for that mission, we both were crazy for this cause. Where we wanted to make sure that and because I knew when she was painting, she was finding all that energy to heal herself, to move forward. And her normal even today is different. Her normal, like, she cannot relate to a lot of people, and but she finds her own tribe, and she's stays happy that way.
And Manu, right there, what you just said, to find your cause. So I think past few years have had their highs and lows in my life, and there've been, there was a lot of turbulence, and I think this podcast right here that I started doing in May of last year, for me, it started because my soul was searching, and this person, his name is Connor, and I got on a call with him, and he told me that, what, it was a real estate call, but he said, what, you need to just start doing a podcast. And that's based on his advice. I started doing this podcast, um and now, after a year, when I look back, my podcast started changing my life, because it started bringing all these different amazing people in my life, from all over the world. And the best thing that, the best lesson that it started to teach me was that, regardless of the color of our skin, regardless of our cultures, regardless of our religions, regardless of the differences that we think are so big and huge, it made me realize that they are actually very minute in the big scope of things, and that we are actually so similar.
Yes. We have a human tendency of finding ourselves victims of circumstances. But once we get over that and we look back, then we realize, oh my gosh, how strong we've become.
Yeah.
So that's, I think it was Seth Gordon who had said something about change is not a threat, it's an opportunity. So to transform you.
Yes.
And
I believe that.
Yeah, and once we start accepting that, so what had happened is, because of all the strength I knew, my mom's a very strong person back home. That's when in 2017 I decided, when I used to see all these moms coming to Kumon and struggling with bringing their kids, and their minivans were like a 7-Eleven with all the junk food in the cars, like eat this, eat that, let's go here. That's when I decided to actually open the chapter of LeanIn in DFW Mid Cities. And which is basically, behind every woman, there's a circle of women. And
it should be that way.
It should be that way. Yes. So we are like, around 100 women in our network. We are helping each other out. And it's amazing how this network has grown over a period of time. And it just gives me a lot of, strength when I listen to other women. And that's another cause that I went for in life, where, becoming a network leader for LeanIn was obviously, it's an opportunity. It's a privilege to be out there on that platform. When I get, 2 years back, I had dinner at Sheryl Sandberg's house, which was like obviously on my wish list to go see her. But there's, look at her Option B book. If you guys have not read that book, I would highly recommend, if you know Cheryl's story. So there are women up there, ordinary women, extraordinary women, but in the end, we are all women. And
absolutely. And I think we are all extraordinary in our own way, right?
And it's okay to leave your progressive slippers in the garage. I always feel I leave my progressive slippers in the garage when I enter. And I'm like, when I'm home, I'm a mother, I'm a wife.
That's a good one.
Right. So, because I'm home now, and they need a mother, they need a wife, they need a friend at home. They don't need, an entrepreneur and all that stuff at home. And being a good example to your son more than your daughter is extremely vital. Because the son is going to have a wife just like, this generation, they need to learn that I'm going to get a wife who's going to be enterprising. So I need to learn and pick up some stuff and walk together with her.
So,
Your story is really inspiring, Manu. I think that's really wonderful to hear the lovely things that you've done. But moving on to Miranda, Miranda, I know that you do the tarot card reading, right? So is it something like I've heard that it's kind of like a spiritual therapy,
Well, I don't do tarot.
and
It
it
is.
brings the conscious. So it's okay. So it's just the lip reading that you do.
So what I do is, it is with the KISS print. That is the energy, and that's the forensics part of it. But these are KISS Whisper Oracle. The difference between the Oracle and the tarot is anyone could do it. You learn the book, you could do readings. This is messages with the angels, so it flows through. So the answer to your question, yes. I do things spiritually and with energy and what flows through me. And what I was sharing is that the last 12 months, I didn't work, not only because of COVID, there weren't any events, but I was able to really figure out what I wanted to do and why I did these KISS events, and now I'm a practitioner. And I too found my purpose, and I have had bookings after bookings. I just did the Housewives of Beverly Hills. I just went to Vegas. So things are starting to come together, and I'm having more podcasts like this, that I realized that I had to go through that and sit still and be able to just really, what is it I want to do? And my mom passed, so she's on my left shoulder. My daughter passed, she's on my right. So now I am balanced. So that's why I always say that 3 women are always better than 1.
it takes a lot of courage to go through these hardships, that life brings your way. But at the end of the day, no matter how difficult it gets, right? No matter what, you still have to get up, and you still have to find that courage inside of you, and you still have to,
You
keep
know,
going.
the day I realized that when I go to sleep, no matter how hard it is, I forget everything. So even a mother who is so paranoid about a kid, like, newborn kid, even when she goes into the deep sleep, she forgets who she is, that she's a mother because she's in deep sleep. So we all have that power inside to let go of stuff and forgiving other people. And yesterday ended last night is one of the mantras I live by. So I'm not gonna. So sometimes I'll, have a fight with my husband, and he'll say, "What happened? Do you remember?" I'm like, "No, I don't." So that is like a disadvantage in my situation. But yeah, it's forgiving people. There is another kind of a freedom because holding grudges with people or any of that stuff, it's just not worth it in your life, because there's so many beautiful souls that you want to connect with. And I think just this podcast, it's self connecting with you three. You guys are radiating positive energy everywhere. It's so beautiful.
Wonderful. Well, Miranda, why don't you do Manu's reading? We all want to know what's in store for her.
Super excited about it. So what we did is we went ahead and shared, this is her first kiss, and this is her second kiss right there. So I need 2 kisses. One is the past, the second one is the present. So the first thing is, the first kiss actually has the top missing. Do you see that part on the very top? There's a piece missing, and then when you look at this one, look how nice and round, and it has all the pieces. So that the first one is telling me the journey that she was on, the journey that was not an easy journey. And it hasn't just been with her daughter. There have been from before that, there's been with her family, there's been other things that life doesn't come easy for you, but you're always missing a part. But the part has always been going back to your roots. Family has always been your woman cave, like a man cave, your woman cave. And because of that, that's where your strength draws from. So I just want to share that. Now, your personality is, the bottom lip is a little larger than the top. So this is, you are the hugger in the family. You are the kisser, the hugger. You're in Spanish, we're the cariños. You're the one that always wanted to make sure that your children felt loved. I don't know if that comes from your generation or the generation before, but they were not touchy-feely, where you always made sure I love you and hugged and kissed. And that's what really gave your daughter the like you said, from the mom, gave her the strength and the know-how. And that's why she became very nurturing and giving, was because of your desire to be a warm, nurturing mother. So I just want to make sure, because we have two other angels here, that I want to make sure, am I pretty much on the right path, or are you, Miranda, you're like, that's not me at all? I just want to make sure.
Well, it depends, because actually my daughter has the biggest complaint that I don't hug. I'm not a hugger. So
Hmm.
I'm not, my love language is more of words of affirmation than touch. So I get it from my mom. I don't want to be hugged, and I don't hug.
So what I want you to do, and when people say that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, how can I be so wrong? So what I want you to do is, next time you hug someone, even though you don't hug very often, see who releases first.
Manu,
And I
when we
bet,
meet, you can hug me.
Okay, sounds good.
but
So
what you
COVID
will
was
find
really good
out,
because I wasn't hugging anybody.
COVID worked for you.
and it's not about, like hug all the time. What it is that you have lasting hugs. So you may not be the hugging, kissy kissy kind of person, but I still see this nurturing. But again, what I want you to do is, whenever you do hug or someone reaches for you, see who lets go first. And
Okay.
I want to bet that you hold on longer than they do. You let them release. And that is self-soothing for you, because what you really need and desire, and you don't say it, and you don't accept, is the feelings, is the hugging, is the let me be there for you, because you are strong. You always show that you're strong. And the angels are letting me tell you that it's time now to bear down and really start feeling what you want, where you're at. I hear you're giving so much, and you have so much to offer, and you're definitely a caregiver, that you want to give all the time. But what is not happening is you're not also bringing it to you, your family. So what I'm going to ask, your angels are saying, what about me, which is you? What about me? So I'm going to ask you to take 1 hour. I know 1 hour a day that you do not do anything for anyone else. You get to spend the time. You're not on the phone. You're not doing anything. You're not planning, but it's a chill hour. See if you can do that for the next 7 days. If you're finding that you cannot, then you're going to find what's lacking. If you're finding that's not a problem, then you need to do it for 2 hours. So that's all I'm seeing, is it's time for self-love for you, because you give so much.
Okay. I will gym count? Like 1 hour in the gym, does it count?
Whatever you would like, as long as you're not looking at the internet, and you're not doing anything. If you can work out, you could do whatever you like to do, but it's your time, and you're not helping, you're not reading, you're not doing anything like that. Even music, just totally alone space, and see what happens.
Definitely. Thank you.
So
So
before
here's the
we,
two cards.
oh,
So
go
here
ahead,
is
go
the
ahead,
card. So
go
what
ahead,
it's
Miranda.
saying now is, the third card is follow. So now it is, now follow your dream. So I hear what you're saying, and what you're really good at, and what you're giving back. So the angels are saying, but don't forget, when you were a little girl, what is it you wanted? What did you dream about? And then the second is, I know it's going to be hard, but aim higher. What you do is extraordinary, but you have so much more. So the angels are like, aim higher, expect higher. So that's what I see.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for,
You're welcome.
I'll keep that in mind.
I just want to make sure that the angels are like, okay, you can go now.
Okay, so Manu, before we end the show, and tell us what would, based on what Miranda said, what would Manu like to do in life?
I'm doing what I want to do, seriously. Not a single day since 2007, I felt I have worked. So I'm living my dream. I have no
Awesome.
regrets. And
Awesome.
my husband asked me, many times, slow down, slow down. And I just feel that leaving a legacy behind, where when I'm gone, if I have made a difference even in one kid
Yes.
who is going to remember me, um, for how I changed his life or her life, it's going to be so worth it. And I know I've already touched few because, as Kalpana knows, Flower High School has Evening with the Stars, and they invite somebody who's made a difference. So I've been invited numerous times by them.
So
But
this is that where this is coming from?
no, this is another award that I received as an Immigrant Journey Award for doing, community work as an immigrant. So that was separate, which was also a surprise. But yes, it's giving and connecting and networking. All those are important. But I will always say, I can wrap up. Don't network and meet people with a purpose in mind, because that's then the vibes are different. So I'll always meet people without a purpose, and I'll connect and listen to their stories, and I'm a connector. So I know like what Kalpana does, and if I'll find somebody who wants some help and Kalpana does that, I'll just connect. And that's the little power, or this is the little mantra I live by. So don't connect with people for a purpose, just do it with love.
Just no ulterior motive. It should just be a heart-to-heart connect.
Totally.
Heart to heart, exactly.
So I think as we end our show, Manu, would you? How about some parting words for the women who are listening? What would you like to tell women? And I would like to do that with you as well, Miranda, to share, especially people who are going through severe hardships or going through a transition in their life. What words of wisdom would you like to share with them, Manu?
As Kalpana had said in the very beginning about women, how South Asian women are raised, we don't have to be perfect in everything we do. Our lunch boxes don't have to be perfect. Our outfit and our nails don't have to be perfect. Start accepting yourself first. That's one of the big things I'll say. Stop comparing yourself with others. Majority of the women in our community dress up for others. They don't dress up for themselves. Go ahead and I don't know if I want to say that, but go ahead and be a badass woman. Do it for yourself. Why do you have to do it for another woman or somebody? You can go sit in a coffee shop and have coffee and just enjoy. That's there. So one of the things is you don't have to be perfect every time. Some things in life, they say that who was one of the authors who had said, we all are juggling glass balls, in our hands. And it is up to us to decide which one is okay to fall because it's going to break. So be careful that how many you want to juggle. And if it breaks, then you need to figure out the consequences. And
that's okay, right? I mean,
totally
I think we need to teach ourselves so that our daughters and our children can learn that from us, that it's okay not to be imperfect. It's okay to make mistakes, because we are raised with this thing that you can't make mistakes. If mistakes are being made, you keep hush hush. You don't let anyone know. And privacy and this and that, right? But it's
that's
okay.
how we were raised, right? So for women in 30s, I would say pick up a hobby and take care of your health. Women in the 40s, go party hard. That's the prime youth that you're living in. And I'm actually entering the next phase of my life next year. So I, definitely want to take care of my health, which is number one, and then have a hobby, number two, and then work. So those are in that order. So everybody can decide which order at which stage in life, but those are the three things. And have tons and tons of friends, good friends.
Absolutely.
That's where they came. Hobby. I was skirting around it, and what it came is find your hobby a little earlier and start working on that. So finally it landed. I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm wrong again, but
it's okay.
The angel said, there, boom, she said it.
You know what? It's all good. What about you, Kalpana? What would you like to leave as your parting words?
Well, I second thought what Manu has said, because I always strongly believe that that just live for yourself as well, because that's more important. And also to the mothers out there, I would say this: teach your daughter or your son to be brave rather than to be perfect, because perfection is something that never you will achieve. So just teach them to be brave. And for current generation is regardless of the gender, because everybody's going through a lot of things, a lot of turmoils in their life. So just but these kind of nuggets of advice is very important in your life. I think we need to keep incorporating in the days of our life, in our daughter or a son, whoever it is. So that's my advice to everybody. And things will happen in your life. All sorts of things happen with all sorts of people. It's just how we just evolve from it, how we learn from it. That's what makes our journey better every day.
And friends, everyone, thank you for watching this show, and thank you for your support. Would love for women to join our women empowerment group called Women of Noor. Our focus is diversity and inclusion and empowerment, and it's a place, hopefully a safe place for women, where we can all build each other and we can all lift each other. We can only give to others from a place of fulfillment, from a place of abundance. So we can only give when we are full ourselves and we help others with the overflow. This is what I feel. So good night, everyone. Thank you for being here.